Welcome to AkamaiTV. Geo-Piracy is a growing concern for streaming media, and I'm sitting here today with Alistair Campbell from GeoGuard, who's at the forefront of combating this issue. Alistair, thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem. Good to see you, Heather.
Good to see you. So first, let's just talk a little bit, what is Geo-Piracy and why is it even a concern?
Sure. Yeah, so what Geo-Piracy is, in its simplest form, is the idea that you can fake your location online in order to access some media content that's maybe not available where you are, or is available for free or for less elsewhere in the world. And that's done by typically masking your IP address using a VPN or DNS proxy service. So the reason why this is important for the industry to be able to protect against it is that predominantly something that the rights holders are beginning to take more seriously. The reason being that they sell their rights in a regional way, and what that means then is that if they cannot protect and maintain exclusivity, then the whole way that they sell is being undermined. And in addition to that, for the broadcasters themselves, they obviously are a victim of this as well, and particularly if you are broadcasting across a number of markets, again, you may well set a different price in different places. That's very common in live sports where they're very much in demand in one country, less in demand elsewhere. And also we're seeing more, from a regulation, legislative perspective, kind of localization. Certain countries restricting the availability of movies, or say in the EU, they're now wanting 20% of your content to be European made. So again, it's important to have these types of protections in place to ensure you can comply with all those things.
Yeah, a lot of us, I think, have gotten that, tried to log in from another location and gotten that message that, it's not, that content is now accessible in the area that you're now in.
Right.
So it's understandable why a lot of these people are going to these VPN services.
Yeah.
What kind of trends are you seeing with usage?
Yeah, well, so it's certainly been something that has grown significantly, probably over the last 4 or 5 years. And it really started out people wanting to unlock the US content, particularly, as the kind of OTT market kind of began, and that's where a lot of the content was. Now it's really evolved that people are using it to unlock OTTs all around the world for different reasons. And there's research out there that shows that essentially 25% of all users, internet users, switch on a VPN every month. And on top of that, now the primary reason for doing that is being able to access more entertainment. So it's not about privacy predominantly, it's about unlocking the content. So what that's meant is the industry has grown around it. So all the VPNs, DNS proxies out there, they're now very large companies. And they are well resourced, and they are working very hard to continue to kind of evade detection. And there's a number of ways they do that in terms of specifically working around, coming up with new solutions, switching IPs more frequently. So these are the kind of things we're seeing.
How are you guys combating that today?
Yeah, so the way that we work, essentially what we produce is a list of IP addresses that we know for certain are associated with these types of services. So the way that we do that is GeoGuard is really all about protecting geolocation, or with geolocation fraud detection. So our software is installed on over 300 million mobile devices across a number of different industries. So that gives us like a really good picture on how these types of services work and how we can detect them. And what that results in is a really quick product where, one, we're protecting the content and making sure broadcasters are in compliance. And on the second hand, we're very precise and we're not accidentally flagging people when we shouldn't be.
So, I want to get back to that in just 1 second after this quick message.
GeoGuard provides industry-leading and Hollywood studio-approved VPN and DNS proxy detection to many of the world's top rights holders and over-the-top streaming media providers. Geolocation fraud and geo-piracy cost rights holders and OTT providers billions of dollars in lost revenue, revenue that's critical to funding productions and creating premium video content. Whether the geolocation fraud comes via standard data center IPs or premium residential IPs. GeoGuard's integration with Akamai provides an enhanced proxy detection solution that stops the stream and ensures rights holders are protected. Content piracy takes many forms, but geolocation fraud and geo-piracy is one area that can be easily solved with GeoGuard and Akamai.
Hi, we're back, and Alistair, we were just talking about how it is that GeoGuard is really working to thwart the efforts of these VPN and proxy services that are allowing people to location spoof. And we're super excited right now to be announcing that Akamai is actually in partnership with GeoGuard. We're bringing your data onto our network so that our customers can combat this on the CDN and at the edge. Talk to me a little bit about what's the benefit of actually combining your service into the CDN?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there are a long list of advantages for that from our customers and your customers' perspective. But to focus on the security angle, the primary advantage is, as I mentioned earlier, these VPNs are, their main selling point is unlocking OTTs. And so when they can no longer do that, it's an issue, and we see on social media that people get very upset very quickly with these VPNs once we integrate and are protecting the content. So they are, as I say, constantly trying to work around us, and so being on Akamai at the CDN level makes sure that we can give the kind of absolute level of security, and we're able to catch some of the more advanced techniques that VPNs are using right now.
You know, with the whole IPv6 opening up, it's got to be harder and harder to stay ahead. You know, how are you guys trying to stay ahead of that curve? And what other new technologies are you seeing in terms of, you know, how aggressive they're trying to be?
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, you know, IPv6 has been something that's been around for some time. Looks like we are finally making some kind of roads in, and we certainly expect some OTTs to start accepting users with IPv6 this year. And so once that happens, of course, it won't be long before those VPNs are also offering IPv6 connections. So it's definitely something that we're keeping an eye on, and you know, we'll be beginning to add IPv6 you know, as and when we need. But yes, it's definitely a concern for geo-blocking overall, and we're already seeing kind of a move a little bit away from just looking at IP address to a more kind of all-round like geolocation, so whether that's like the location services on a device or HTML5 geolocation, which will kind of help you locate users more specifically, and may well kind of come into play more as IPv6 grows in adoption.
What kind of complexity does the rise in mobile use add to your being able to specify location and pinpoint location?
So again, you know, if you're just talking about IP geolocation, which is pretty much the norm right now, there is some complications. You can locate someone at kind of a country level pretty well on mobile, but the way that the mobile ISPs allocate their IPs to users is more of a randomized than the kind of typical kind of fixed landline ways. So that does make specific, certainly if you're going down to a zip code, very, very hard with mobile without looking at other sources of information. And definitely, yeah, we're seeing that trend that, you know, with the advent of 5G connections, that faster mobile data is going to mean more streaming over mobile.
So IP addresses are now considered, you know, personal identifiers with the GDPRs and other data laws that are coming into play. Yeah. What does this mean for combating the geo-piracy moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, in terms of GDPR, like something that we're definitely well within. You know, it's all about just making sure that you're adhering with the regulations. And so, yeah, in terms of geolocation, you know, it's kind of well within the bounds. So.
Okay. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're really happy to have you. Thank you for joining us at AkamaiTV, and we'll be back with more content.